Hi, I'm Rod Pry, the director of the Pennsylvania State Sunday School Association, and I want to welcome you to our weekly International Sunday School Lesson Preview, this time for Sunday, October the 4th. This week's lesson is entitled Love That Intercedes, and it's based on scripture found in 1 Samuel chapter 19, verses 1 through 7. I want to begin today with a question for you. Did you ever find yourself in the middle of a dispute between two of your friends, or maybe between two persons within your own family? It can be a rather perilous situation. You're at risk of losing a friend, but at the same time, you see the need to try to fix the situation. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." But being a peacemaker is not always easy. For example, consider the position of Jonathan in today's Sunday school lesson. Saul, Jonathan's father, was the first king of Israel. He started out great, but when he failed to follow the Lord's leading, God withdrew his blessing, and David was anointed to become the next king. And when David killed Goliath and led the Israeli army to great victories over the Philistines, Saul became very jealous of David's success. It got to the point of where Saul plotted to kill David. As we see in verse 1 in today's scripture lesson, it says, Saul told his son Jonathan and all the attendants to kill David. But Jonathan and David were best friends. As verse 1 continues, and then the first part of verse 2, it says this, Jonathan had taken a great liking to David and warned him, "My father Saul is looking for a chance to kill you." Jonathan was caught in the middle between his father and his best friend. What was he going to do? As we said, the first thing that he did, he warned David. But he also tried to talk his father out of trying to kill David. Verse 4 says, Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father, and said to him, "Let not the king do wrong to his servant David. He has not wronged you." And he goes on to say, "Why then would you do wrong to an innocent man like David by killing him for no reason?" And apparently, Jonathan's words struck a chord with Saul. For it goes on to say in verses 6 and 7, Saul listened to Jonathan and took this oath, "As surely as the Lord lives, David will not be put to death." So Jonathan called David and told him the whole conversation. He brought him to Saul, and David was with Saul as before. Jonathan had a decision to make: do nothing and let his father try to kill his best friend, or step in, step up, and try to be a peacemaker. Fortunately, the love that he had for both his father and his friend led him to intercede. He saw the need to be a peacemaker, and he took action, and the result was peace and harmony. Almost 100 years ago, a man by the name of Horace Donegan wrote some very insightful words that are still very appropriate today. He said this, "Peace comes only from loving, from mutual self-sacrifice and self-forgiveness. Few today have humility or wisdom enough to know that the world's deepest need is for love. We are too much possessed by national and racial and cultural pride." How true. The number one need for the world today certainly is love. Love that intercedes, love that gets involved, love that cares for all persons of all ages, all skin colors, and all social and economic classes, love that cares for all of God's children. The world in which we live today seems to be very polarized, with many different issues that pit neighbor against neighbor, friend against friend, and even family members against each other. Issues like politics, race relations, social justice, and many others tend to divide us rather than bring us together. But for us as Christians, we are called to work to make a difference. Matthew chapter 5 verse 9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God." And what does it mean to be called a son of God? 1 John chapter 3 verse 1 says this, "See what great love the Father has given to those who are called children of God." And we are. In other words, to be a child of God is to be known and experience His love. A love that each and every Christian should be reflecting and sharing with the world around them. As I close today's lesson, I'd like to leave you with this question. Are you a peacemaker? Do you have love for all persons, enough love to try to help people work out differences and help bring about peace and understanding in today's world? Think about it and pray about it. Thank you for allowing me to share with you today. Next week's lesson will move into the New Testament to the teachings of Jesus with a lesson entitled, Love Your Enemies. I'm Rod Pry from the Pennsylvania State Sunday School Association. And again, thank you for being with us today. I hope to see you again next week.